All right, let's see the next question. I got to see a card. Number one.
Thank you both so much for being here. My question, again, is a little bit on the political spectrum. I was wondering what you're both most hopeful about in this new political environment we have, and also what you're both most worried about.
You want to take hope or worried, Warren?
Well, I'm confident that America will move ahead. It's been, from the time I was born until now, the real GDP per capita of this country has gone up 6 for 1. I mean, nobody ever dreamt that would be possible. And when you look at what's happened in this country over 240 years, it's an absolute miracle. When I went to Columbia Business School in September 1950, one woman in the class. I mean, this country moves forward, and you can't stop it. So I'm enormously optimistic. I say the luckiest person born in the history of the world is the baby being born today in this country. And we will go and, everybody, half the country always is going to be somewhat unhappy, or close to half, about the last election. But I grew up in a household in the late 1930s. My dad was very Republican. My sisters and I didn't get dessert unless we said something bad about Roosevelt. I mean, it was required. And I heard all these apocalyptic views about after his third term there'll be no more elections. I've been hearing that all my life, and year after year after year, with occasional hiccups and an occasional seizure like we had in 2008 and 2009. But this country, it's all profit, folks. I mean, when I came in, just think of what it would have been like in 1776, nothing here. Yeah. And now we've got...
And the velocity of change
it just keeps moving.
Day.
I mean, guys like Bill, they don't quit. Yeah. I mean, he moves on to something like polio. He mentions 50 cases in the world. There were more than 50 in the ward where I went when I was a teenager to see a friend of my sister's. And they were all in these rocking machines and everything. They were destined to a terrible, terrible life, and it was just one ward in Omaha, and now that's the yearly total, thanks initially to, as well as currently, to Rotary and some. But people kept working on it. This world moves forward, and it's been doing. I bought my first stock when I was 11 in April of 1942. The Dow was 100. If you haven't looked, it's 20,000. Something good must have happened in between, and it's going to keep happening, folks.
Bill, I know you share the optimism. What about concerns?
Well, the optimism is partly that I think American innovation is strong. Support for research is by and large bipartisan. And so whether it's health breakthroughs or even energy breakthroughs, I think, every year that goes by, we're going to have more of those things. Now, this administration is new enough. We don't know how their budget priorities will come out. There are things like foreign aid, which is a small part of the budget, about $30 billion a year, but that means the U.S. is the biggest, that every time there's new leadership, we have to go in and articulate the benefits. It's well spent. It's not the image that people have in the past. And so right now, I think there's a lot of intensity to make sure we get that message out and get, both in terms of the executive branch and the Congress, to maintain amazing things like the President's Malaria Initiative or PEPFAR, which is an HIV thing. These things started under President Bush, and so our foundation's had a great working relationship with Democratic and Republican administrations. Most people wouldn't realize that U.S. foreign aid as a percentage of the economy, which is generally how it's measured, reached its low point in 1999 under the Clinton administration. Now, I'm not saying it was the administration, it was a mix of the administration and the Congress. Then, during those Bush years, it went up fairly substantially. Now, the economy helped with that, but these initiatives were really amazing. And, I'm hopeful that maintaining or even growing these initiatives will be a priority when there's a lot of talk about tax cuts and different spending activities. And so it is a bit up in the air during these months ahead.
And you